angry guy here, and women are crying on social media because they're childless and single. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Now let's begin. Women are crying on social media because they're childless and single. Let's just go ahead and jump into the very first video.
I had to take a few minutes for this one because it made me cry. The grief is overwhelming. I want children so much, but I also desperately want to live my life. I have no support structure. I disappear. So the reason that this has made me so emotional is because this exactly encapsulates how I feel about my motherhood journey. I always wanted to have kids, or at least one. I didn't get to have one. This is not the time for specifics. Doesn't matter. Someday I'll tell you. If you want to know, you can go into my Medium feed and read about it in my articles. The link is in my profile. When things got to the end of the line and I was 38 and the man that I thought that I was going to marry left me for a younger woman, I realized that, like, 38, what am I going to do? Was I going to spend a bunch of time trying to find a male partner so that I could have the best shot that I could at having a baby? Or should I pursue adoption or IVF or something on my own? I was left in dire financial straits by that boyfriend, and I didn't have the money to pursue any of those options. I also didn't have the emotional or physical support that I knew I would need. And as the years went by and I counted down toward the end of the biological clock opening, every single time I circled these decisions again, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was not something that I wanted to endeavor on my own. I have watched my friends go through single motherhood, and it was hell for them. And I didn't want that for myself or my child. And that is because we live in a society that does not support single mothers, does not support married mothers, does not support single women, doesn't support married women. It doesn't support women at all. And so I chose to let it happen, to move forward without pursuing motherhood. And that comes with a lot of grief, but in the situation that we're in this country, I'm confident that I made the right decision and I will have no regrets.
Now, to be clear, I am not knocking her on this. I completely support her decision not to become a single mother. And single motherhood, I don't believe it's something that should be celebrated. It is absolutely celebrated in Western society, but it is not something. And to say that it's not supported is completely untrue. For example, if you go and you find a man to have a child with, then he's going to be held for child support. But what she's talking about is having a child by herself and then the state subsidizing that entirely, right? So basically, she goes out, she gets pregnant using in vitro fertilization, and then the state would have to subsidize the living of that child, basically provide for that child in the place of a man. And that is what a lot of women, including women in South Korea, are actually trying to advocate for, or at least some of the feminists, that, hey, we need the government to incentivize single motherhood even more so that women can go out and, even without having to find a man to, get them pregnant so that they can collect child support, the government will still, allocate resources just like they would in the place of child support to allow these women to raise these children without a father. And of course, there are women who do this right now, like Octomom. She's been living off the government. She's been receiving public assistance, and she does receive money in this way. But what these women are saying, that it's not enough. Women should be able to receive the kind of money they would be making if they were working a full-time job. So, they should be able to receive the kind of money they would be receiving if they were making $100,000 a year. They would get that money from the government instead of having to work, and then they could raise those children while receiving that entire income. That's kind of insane. Because you know how the system works. The government works when you're on public assistance is they give you just enough to survive, but not enough to thrive. And these women are so upset about that. And you have a lot of these single women who are making videos like this one right here that says, no family at 42. Sometimes I can't stop crying. I'll be alone till the end of my life. However, as you can see here, she's like flexing and flaunting, showing how fabulous she is at 42 years old. Again, we'll play it again. Look at that. Getting up. Oh, look how beautiful I am. Look how wonderful I am at 42. I have all this money. I don't need no man. And they don't understand what they're really saying, what they're really doing, and what the consequences are. And there are a bunch of single women on social media that are trying to reject this, rebuke this notion, when in reality, a lot of women are miserable when they get older and they're alone.
To deliver some cold hard truths that you don't want to hear, okay? But I'm going to say what I want because you're sounding off in my comments. If you regret not having children when you were younger and now it's too late, that is a decision that you have to make peace with, because otherwise it's going to eat away at you. Telling younger women that they will regret their decision, it's not healthy. It's not healthy, babes, okay? You need to look inwards and find ways to find joy in your child-free life. That's your responsibility. This could happen to anyone. I might regret my decision when I'm older. Who knows? And that's just something I'll have to accept. The way I see it is, say 45-year-old me thinks, shit, I wish I had kids. It's too late for me now. I'm so mad at my younger self for not having them. I would say to my 45-year-old self, fuck off, because I don't want them. I don't want kids right now. If I had kids right now, I would be miserable. Miserable. It is irresponsible to bring kids into this world that you don't want, okay? Even if, you could travel back in time and make your 34-year-old self or 35-year-old self have children, that wouldn't have been good for you if it's not what your 34-year-old self wanted, okay? So find some bloody peace in your life, okay? I feel for you. I know this sounds harsh, but you need to be told.
So here you have the feminist literally telling younger women, if you are questioning having children, do not question it at all. Do not have them and make peace with it. Yes, you're young right now and you may be feeling antsy and saying that, maybe not having children is the wrong decision because I may want to have children later on. Even though I'm enjoying my career right now and I'm prioritizing my career, that could change when I get older. And I may wish that I had chosen to, have a family, get married, have a husband, have children to come home to, to have children at home waiting, with me, be a mommy. However, these women are saying, listen, you need to make peace with it, young lady, you need to make peace with it. Don't worry about these things. And if you didn't think you should have had kids when you were in your 30s or your 20s, then you don't need to worry about having kids when you're older. So make peace with it, accept that you're going to be childless, find something else to deal with. Like, why would you tell a young woman that is not sure whether or not they want to have children or not, that they should simply say, you know what, I don't want to have children, because if you're questioning it, then you shouldn't have children, period. That's madness. You should always prioritize your career instead of having children. Don't even think about it twice, because if you're questioning having children, that means that you shouldn't have them. How insane is that? I had a friend, and she had a kid when she was about 40 years old. And she said something interesting to me. She said to me that she never planned on having kids and she never wanted to have kids. However, when she had her son, it really changed things for her because she looked at motherhood differently. And she's so glad that she had a kid. Let me tell you something about this woman. This woman is now in her 40s, like maybe in her mid 40s, so around 43, 44. And her husband passed away. I knew her husband pretty well, not extremely well, because he was a very introverted person, so he just would not talk to people. But he passed away. And when she reached out to me and told me he passed away, I was in complete and utter shock. Like, I kept saying to her that she was lying. And this went on for months and months until we spoke, and she basically made it clear, no, he's gone. He really is gone. And I just was like in absolute shock. She told me he was sick, and he died. He passed away a very young man, and she is now alone, and she has no one, and physically she can't go out there and find another man. Her After she had her son, her body, she's one of those people who it had an extremely messed up effect on her body. Everything went. She would have to go and have everything surgically repaired. And without her son, she would have nothing and no one right now. She would literally be sitting at home in absolute misery, just going going mad, and her son is her entire life, her entire life. And she makes pretty decent money. She does rental properties, but it's crazy to think where she would be without her child. And many of these women don't understand the importance of motherhood, and how motherhood not only changes you, but it also adds something to your life that was missing. That's what the Bible talks about. It mentioned after Eve's sin that she would find her purpose within motherhood, or her redemption. Some I forget the exact terminology, but maybe MK Fitness is watching the video and he'll explain it in the comments, or one of you guys that are more versed with it. But God says something regarding motherhood to Eve. And I want y'all to think about this, that so many young women are being literally told by the feminists not to have children, and to go down the same road that they went down, not having children, and they need to make peace with it. My good, it's like they're literally sabotaging these young women and trying to destroy their chances at ever having peace, or ever having happiness. Misery loves company. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers and our journey to 1 million, no, scratch that, 2 million subscribers, by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Women are crying on social media because they're childless and single. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.